Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, Vanity, Ezel back of Carpet Vanguard, Ezel Vanity weekly videos. So if you guys enjoyed, don't like, comment, subscribe, balance, This time we are covering reveals starting from the Luard Stride deck set finally, and we of course will get more reveals at the Shiranui Stride deck as well. I believe we are getting OG Shiranui and Moroku in this same video, so that's going to be fun to deal with. But let's go ahead and get the Luard reveal started to end off this October month, which is great. Also, happy Halloween to everyone. Anyways, first we have our start on Drag Prince Root grades with boost 5 Kishiosuke base. All if you win second draw card standard starters, but free draw if you win second. You know, there's not much more I gotta say about this starter. It's required for the Riot line because Nice exists and Nice gets out the crest. And while the crest is definitely helpful in D, and I guess by default premium too, because free 20k, the crest I have heard, and I don't argue with it, is arguably the least useful of all the crests because Chrono Jets at least sets up BS. Messiah's basically is a pseudo glue ball avalanche. Shiranui's, I mean, it makes things bigger beat sticks, not by much, but still to compensate for them not getting numbers from dominating. And then Luard's, well, we'll get to Luard's in a minute, but anyways, yeah, Root's kind of needed for Nice, and then Nice over here as the standard starter for all of the grade 1s for the Legends, or not the Legend sets, the Stride deck sets. Dragwizard Nice, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto upon 1 second, sorry, if brought upon by, if you placed it by riding from Drag Prince Root, draw a card, then you get a Dragheart Luard crest. So, cool. Free draw, if you win second, you get a total of 2 free draws and you get a crest. All around pretty solid, but there's not much more I can say about it, so yeah, take that as you will. Then, of course, we have our crest and the Dragheart Luard crest, so let's go ahead and get the same shared abilities out the way. Continuous, you can perform strides, and you cannot ride grade 3 or greater cards without Luard in their card names, so that means you can go into Dragfall Luard if you wanted to. Continues the original power of all your grade 3 cards. Luard in their card name becomes 13,000, including the heart cards. And then continues Vanguard during, or not continues Vanguard, continuous during your turn if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Luard in its card name. All your front units get plus 5,000 power for each face card in your G zone. So cool. In D, as of right now, at the time of recording this, the most you can get is 20k off that, which is pretty solid. And premium, combine that with Morfessa, you got some pretty fun numbers. And then auto at the end of your turn, if you do not pay the cost for your stride this turn, whether or not that means you just chose not to stride this turn by whatever reason, or you just went into stride but you used Luard skill to make it free, you can bot deck a crit from your drop zone. Cool. You know, I guess that's fine. I feel weird though, because like at least the other ones kind of followed the gimmick of the deck. Like Chrono Jet's worked for time leaping, Messiah's work with not locking down the opponent's board. I put that in quotation marks, by the way, because you know it does open up their board at the end of the turn. And then Shiranui's just gives them power to again compensate for them not getting power from being dominated. So I don't know. Especially considering, like, the only thing about this that is remnant of the old Luard is Belio Owl, the crit that everyone ran as a 4/2 bot deck. But, I mean, it's fine, I guess. I don't really know how to feel about this one, but cool. Take that as you will. And then we have Dragwizard Luard, grade 2 5k shield, 10k base. Okay, I love his art, and I keep forgetting. Okay, I love his art, and I keep forgetting I can proc off his skill. Grade 10 5k shield, 10k base, auto reply but word upon by a grade 3 Dragheart Luard in its card name. Soul Boss 1 draw a card. Okay, interesting that it says in its card name. Because to my knowledge, there's only one card with Dragheart Luard in its card name. That's Dragheart Luard. So that implies that they might make another one. God forbid they ever give Stride deck sets support that aren't promos, but if they do ever give them support, that implies that the next one is going to not be Dragfall straight up, but a card with Dragheart Luard in its card name. Anyway, Soul Boss 1 draw a card, which is nice, unless that is a mistranslation error, then in that case, fair enough. And then auto drop zone Ritual 3, if you have 3 or more grade 1s in your drop zone, that's the only time I'm ever going to say this during this entire video. When you're a grade 4 with Luard and its card name is placed on your Vanguard circle, ditch 1 to call this card. So, cool. Calls itself back to rear. I wish it was a Morfessa and counted itself as a grade 1 in drop zone, but considering we're getting Morfessa in the same Stride deck set, I'm not surprised. So, one of them in the right deck, none in the main deck. On the upside, he's very solid because if you Soul Blast him out, that literally means you can use him to proc off the stride skill of Luard, since one of the biggest downsides to him, you have to have a rear guard inherently to counter boss 1, kill a rear guard, then call 2 things. But with Leofall, if you stride, because you can do them in any order you wish, if you're in Ritual 3, you can ditch a card, call him, then immediately kill him for Luard skill. All around pretty solid, so he actually is a very solid ride deck grade 2. Then we have Dragheart Luard. I'm going to go over this one very quickly because I assume most of you know who he is, and if you don't, then you can kind of understand why he's good. Anyways, grade 3 champ persona 13, not persona, sorry, grade 3 twin drive 11k base, auto Vanguard ritual 3 if you have 3 or more grade 1s in your drop zone. At the beginning of your ride phase, by bot decking any 2 normies from your drop zone, whether they're grade 1s, grade 2s, grade 3s, technically grade 0s if they're not triggers or they have an ability that treats them as normal units, bot deck them, and then until end of turn, the next time you would stride, you may do so without paying the cost. So that's where this comes in handy. All around, pretty solid. It can bot deck any true normal units, which is great, and they can be of different names or same names. Downside is, though, you can't pull this off on first stride unless you're the one that went first, which means your first stride didn't happen because your opponent was at grade 2, and then when your next turn comes around, you can do it for free, but typically you can't do it if you're going second, which means you get first stride because it has to already be on the Vanguard circle before you even stride. And then auto Vanguard circle, when your unit strides by counter boss, you want to kill one of your rear guards, so if you have to 2 grade 1 or less cards, call into rear guard circle, separate rear guard circles of your deck. Cool. Performs board spam. This thing creates hell of numbers, especially if we combine it with my favorite oldie grade 1 from Luard, and that is Dragwizard Luard. I am the only one that likes that grade 1 because of one specific play I pulled off with it, but I still love it nonetheless, so 4 of Luard because why not? Then we have our PG for the set, and that's Dragsaver SRAS. Grade 1 boost, 06k base. I still miss the fact that like the old PGs used to have unique skills, whether it involved bouncing rear guards or in the case of my favorite quintet role, not Riskill Hate Dragon, but the one for Luard, whose name is eluding me right now. I just liked them having different skills for adding extra shield. I don't know. It is what it is, but cool. 4 of SRL standard PG ability that the rest of them from D have. Then we have Preservation Angel, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, continues rear guard, circle ritual 3. It gains intercept and 5k shield. Cool. So we have a rear guard interceptor that sadly doesn't work from back row and has 10k on top of that. So all around is pretty solid for defending. It at least allows you to know what you want to put in front row, especially with a lot of grade 1 rushing, because we have a lot of good boosting grade 1s, or just back row grade 1s in general. So having a very solid front row one is very appreciated, especially because she's easy to pull off. So she's a nice 3 or 4 when the deck has extra guard power. And then we have Lumosity Wizard. The closest thing I will get to Seismus, and honestly I love abusing her. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, continuous rear guard circle, GB1 and ritual 3, so you're not pulling that ability off unless you have at least both active. During the turn that this unit is placed on rear guard circle, whether it's from hand, deck, guard circle, doesn't matter, as long as it's placed on rear guard, it gets plus 10,000 power. So 18k, which is solid. And then auto, when she was retired from your rear guard during your turn, if you have a Dragheart Luard crest, you may soul charge 1, and then if you do soul charge, choose one of your vanguards for 5,000 power for that turn. So if you don't soul charge, you don't get the 5k, but it's a free soul charge, so if you're spamming out soul blast off the wazoo with stuff like Painkiller Angel, you can at least replace it and then give the vanguard 5k on top of that. But also it can be retired by any means at any point during your turn. So whether it's by your effects or your opponent's effects, whether you superior call over or pay it as a cost, it straight up would count as either way. So our Lumosity was a very solid grade 1. Has retired targets, literally get you soul, so if you're spamming a soul blast heavy deck, you can work with that. She gives 5k to the Vanguard for free, and she's an 18k booster / swing of the turn she's placed. So 4 of her, very solid grade 1, and I love her so much. That and I love her art as well. Then we have Samacloud's Dragon, grade 3 twin drive persona, 13k base, continues rear guard GB2 ritual 3. During your turn, he gets plus 10,000 power. Cool, 23k swingers, pretty solid. The only downside is you have to be a GB2 for that. And then auto wins just from the hand for the cost of stride, draw a card. Cool, so free draw when you ditch him from stride. Every stride deck set is getting one of these. I think the only one that hasn't gotten one so far is Shiranui's, and depending on what OG Shiranui does, it's either going to go the theory I think it's going to go, where it'll have its OG stride skill, but then it will actually have this cost right here, or it won't have its OG stride skill at all, and it'll basically be it will have a Vanguard skill to some extent, but it'll also have this effect just to make it stride fodder. I don't know. I think all around Samclots is just okay. He's a beat stick and he's a draw, so 2 over 3 of. Then we have disappointing incarnate, Dragdriver Luard. You know what? You know what I find funny is I think we can all solemnly agree the new Fate Rider is a straight up upgrade of OG Fate Rider. The first, I'm talking about first stride specifically of each of the stride deck sets, and then I think I might be wrong about which one it is because I always get the Messiahs confused, but I think the one that's the flippy in this one is Amnesty Messiah. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Amnesty Messiah's new version is better than its old version. To be fair, I don't remember what the old version did, but I'm pretty sure the new version's better. And then we have Magentembu and Dragdriver, who are straight up worse versions of their originals because okay, well Magen Tenbu is definitely worse because Magen Tenbu is the same fucking cost except the only difference is he doesn't have to flip himself and he also doesn't give power for some reason when he dominates. And then as for Dragdriver, he gets less rear guards out of this and he gets less power. The only upside is that he's a multi-attack card, but the other thing is he now costs CB when he used to cost Soul. So like Dragdriver Luard is not as bad of a downgrade compared to what Magen Tenbu is because there's still upsides to his new form, but they are arguably worse. Anyways, standard stride thing, and then grade 4 triple drive 15k base plus, and then auto Vanguard Circle Ritual 3 when he attacks into anything. By counterblast 1 and flipping a card in your G zone face up, search drive to 1 unit card with Ritual on its ability, call it to rear guard circle and shuffle your deck. So again, multi attack, but before when it didn't have multi attack, it gave better numbers because it gave power to the cards that were called. Well, first off, granted, they had to be grade 1s, but it gave power to the cards that were called equal to the number, I think, either the stuff called or the grade 1s in drop zone, which I guess is something we can also say as a buff to this one, that it can call anything with ritual. It doesn't have to be specifically a grade 1. But again, at the same time, you also get less of a board because the old one could get more rear guards depending on either number of cards face up in your G zone or the number of specifically drag drivers in your G zone. And again, it also costs the soul blast, so you got more ritual targets and drop zone, and you didn't eat away at CB. But A, it is what it is. So 4 of drag driver and D, probably not going to do it in V though, but whatever. And now we have our last few reviews for the day. First up, we have Stealth Beast Katsugane. Katsuda again, I don't know, I'm not going to try to pronounce this right now. Great Omen boost 5k shield, 8k base, got a beautiful moon in the background. Continuous hand cards when you're paying the cost for stride, it can be discarded as a grade 3. Then if you have a Demon Stealth Dragon Shiranui Bow crest, you can dish it from the hand in order to search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 grade 3 Demon Stealth Dragon Shiranui and its card name, reveal it, put it to your hand and shuffle your deck if you searched it. So all around very solid, like it's the stride fodder card and it can search any of the Shiranuis because there was an errata on Blazing Demonic Dragon Shiranui Zanki's name in English to become Blazing Demon Stealth Dragon Shiranui Zanki. So, cool. I mean, I don't know why I expected this thing to be so different, but I mean, cool, it's a 4 of, and it also has a moon in the background. Then we have the most disappointing reveal of all, because I'm really disappointed that I was kind of right, and that is grade 3 to 13k base Stealth Dragon Shiranui. Contains rear guard circle GP2. If a unit dominated by you attack this turn, it gets plus 10,000 power. And then auto when rode upon, when it's discarded from the cost for stride, draw a card. They could have given this a Vanguard ability. They could have just made this a Vanguard skill. I don't care if it's like the shittiest stride skill in the world, they could have given it a Vanguard skill so there could be versatility in the deck. I don't know why Bushy didn't, but cool. It's stride fodder, it's fine. I guess that's the 4 in the stride deck set then. And then we have Stealth Dragon Zanki, Great Omen boost 5k shield, 8k base. Okay, we got Moon in the background again. Continues rear guard circle, it gets plus 5,000 power for each time an attack by a dominated unit by you hit this turn. So currently right now in D, the most you can get off that is 2, so 18k, which is nice. And then auto rear guard once per turn, GB1, when your unit's attack hits Soul Charge 1. So specifically your units, so I don't think the dominated unit would count, but I mean it's a hard once per turn Soul Charge, so cool, adds up to Soul, and it kind of benefits for Moroku in premium at least, because it does cost Soul Blast to use his skill. So 4 of Zanki, just because it's numbers and free Soul Charge. And then finally we have Stealth Dragon Seki, great chance of 5k shield, 10k base. We've got a red moon now, so that's my bias going in. And then auto rear guard when your Vanguard attacks. If a unit is dominated by if a unit dominated by you attacks this turn, by soul blasting 1, you can stand this unit. And if you have 2 more face-up cards in your G zone, draw a card and it'll get plus 10,000 power. And suddenly this makes up for not Magen Tenbu, yeah, this makes up for Magen Tenbu being nerfed, and this makes up for this. Because that is not a hard once per turn, meaning, God forbid, but meaning if for some reason Moroku could stand itself, that immediately means this is a multi-attacker. And this is also just works whether you stride or not. Like if you find a way to dominate your opponent's unit, that's just great. So 4 of Sekiki,
that's actually a very solid grade 2 and now warrants this thing's existence. So that's it for today's reviews. I hope you guys enjoy. A little disappointed that we didn't get Moroku, but I know this Thursday we are getting Dragstrider. So yeah, I'm gonna go test play this mofo now, and see you all next one. Don't forget to stand up, you guys' Vanguards.